Hiya, I'm going to show you this makeup look from scratch today. This eyeshadow look in particular is something that you can do with any two eyeshadow colours. It's really quick and easy. I did most of it with my hands, so I hope you enjoy. As always, everything I've used is listed in the description of the video, so if you click to make it full screen, the title will come up along the top. Click the arrow next to it and a full list of everything will drop down. Okay, I'm going to use some of the Your Skin But Better foundation today. Recently, I've been experimenting a bit more with using sponges. It's not my first choice for putting your foundation on, but I do think in particular if you have like areas of dryness and you don't want your makeup to kind of patch or come off in little flakes, the motion of pressing it in rather than rubbing it in can be really helpful. So I've kind of just been working through some of my favourite complexion products, but using a sponge with them instead. Now, I love the finish that it gives. And someone said to me recently, actually, am I using a damp sponge? I always dampen the sponge first. However, I do think that when you use a sponge, you need so much more product to get the same finish because there's no denying that the sponge is going to drink up some of the product. So I would kind of keep that in mind if you're thinking of making the switch. What might usually be one pump of your foundation will more than likely be 1.5 if you're using a sponge. Now, I'm actually going to take this right the way around the eye area. I don't feel like I've got enough discoloration there today to warrant needing to use a separate concealer, but it will just act as a nice base for some of the shadows I'm going to put on today. Marcy, you had said to me that you want to try some Makeup by Mario things now that he is available at Cult Beauty. So I've got a little palette that I'm going to use, and I've got a couple of his complexion sticks as well. So I'm going to show you that today. And then I've also had quite a few questions around like a dropped eyelid shape or eyelids that have maybe dropped a little bit with age, maybe kind of crepey eyes. So what I'm going to do today is show you one of my favourite like summery eyeshadow tips that's really soft and easy to achieve, and it just looks really flattering on everyone. Now, I'm not going to lie, I actually love how that's come out. I feel like it looks really fresh. The good news is it looks lovely. The thing to consider is that took me 2 pumps, and usually I don't really tend to use more than one. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit for a little moment and settle down. I'm taking a little bit of Bye Bye Pores pressed powder from IT Cosmetics, and I'm just going to powder the eyes where I've put that foundation over them to act as a bit of a base, and also just kind of down the T-zone to prevent any kind of shininess and detract from any, luminosity in areas like pores that I would rather look a little bit more velvety. Okay, to prep my eyes really quickly, I'm going to do a really kind of soft brow, just fill in the gaps of what's already there. And to do that, I'm going to use the IT Cosmetics Brow Power. And then let's get into some eyeshadows. Now, this is the Master Metallics palette from Mario. I really like this palette. I got this and his matte palette that I've used in previous videos. I literally bought them when he first launched the brand, so I've had them for a good while. The metallics are lovely in that they're so soft and buttery that you don't have to worry too much about being absolutely precise with your blending. Now, just to kind of really set myself up, what I always usually do, and by all means, anything that I'm showing you today, you can use with whatever you already have in your makeup bag. I always tend to go in with like a bronzer or a brown through the socket. This is called Soft Brown by MAC. And just to give myself a little framework, I'm going to take this through the socket. Now, Chloe, Jolanta, you'd both asked me about more of a dropped eyelid shape. And what I want you to notice here is that I am going above the natural crease in the eye. I'm not going through it. I'm kind of drawing on this fake socket to make the illusion of my eye being larger. So with any of your eyeshadow shapes, put them where you want them to be rather than where they actually are. So for me, I'm taking them higher up to give the illusion of a more lifted eye. Next, to keep this really simple, I'm going to go in with this kind of bronze coppery shade on my ring finger. No need for fancy blending. I'm literally going to buff this in and soften it all with the same finger. Okay, I know I just said that about no fancy blending, but you know what? A little brush isn't going to hurt. I have picked up a tiny bit of that bronze and I'm just going to run it through the socket. You know how the brown went above it? I'm running the bronze through the socket so that it joins this lid and that soft brown, and we have this lovely gradient of like bronze into nothing. And now I'm going to take this nice champagne colour again on the ring finger, and I literally just want to press this in the centres of the eyes, kind of in line with the blues. So okay, I know that looks quite harsh now. If you take the same finger and just soften the edges, I should point out I just wiped that on a wipe to get it nice and clean. Any clean finger will do. See how there is now just a bit of dimension? You look like you've put in a lot of effort, and I've literally just put a couple of things on with one brush and my finger. Okay, I think it'll really pull this together to put a tiny bit of the bronze colour under the waterline. So I'm going to do that now. I'm not going all the way across, just maybe like halfway in to pull everything together without kind of making the eye look any smaller. This is another area that I really encourage you to play with. If your lids have dropped slightly, you've got all of this space under here to put a colour, and when you're looking at someone forward on, that colour will be really visible. I'm going to put some Peaches and Cream Dynasty eyeliner just in this waterline. It's also a coppery shade, and it will make sure that everything has this lovely warmth. And then I'm going to go in with some Monsieur Big from Lancome. This is actually a black brown mascara. I'm not sure if you can see, but the brown in this will again really complement these bronze colours and pull the whole thing together. Okay, I've got a meeting in 10 minutes, time is ticking on. I want to quickly show you the Mario Creamy Sticks. If you're wondering kind of which things are lovely from him, anything I've tried has been lovely, but these sticks in particular wear really well through the day. Okay, so to begin, I've done 4 kind of blobs. I'm going to take a large sponge, this is also damp, and I'm going to use this to spread the colour through the cheeks and the forehead. I'm actually going to put this directly onto the sponge to just make sure that I get a nice even layer of cover. So that's the bronzer. Next I'm going to go in with Earthy Pink. I'm going to take this slightly more towards kind of the inner parts of the face so that when you're looking at me forward on, you're going to see it. And for this one, I'm just going to pat it in with my fingertips to spread it out a little bit. And you'll notice here, I'm patting it, not rubbing it. If I were to rub it, I'd be lifting the coverage. But instead, I'm doing lots of little taps to pat it into the skin. And I'm not going to forget a tiny bit for the nose. And then to finish off, I'm just going to set those brows with a little bit of the Nudestix brow gel. And then I'm going to go in with a nice brown liner and a touch of Honey Love lipstick and soften the whole thing with a little bit of Vive Lip Dew. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, please feel free to let me know anything in particular you'd like to see a video on. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.